And everybody wants to take a brief pause as soon as the light comes on. Like everybody's trying to be cool. Like relax a little
Looking
bit.
for that
It's
red light.
showtime. Like, come on.
Looking for the red light. You ain't gonna get me.
Well, nevertheless, it's that time of the week once again, and the boys are back. Still fresh off the heels of WrestleMania 40. Last week, we talked about Cody Rhodes finishing the story, and we asked the major question, what is next? But today, my good friends, we are here to talk about what's next for the Bloodline. Some things have happened throughout the week, not to mention we have new tag team champions. Shout out to Championship Culture. We're going to figure this out. We're going to have this conversation once and for all right after this. Wait for it. Now.
Houston, we have a problem.
That was perfect. Welcome to the Wrestling Round Now podcast, where we take a deeper dive into the world of professional wrestling. Now, you can watch all of our Wrestling Realm content anytime on youtube.com/The Wrestling Realm. I am your host, the realist himself, the real Dwayne Allen, live and in color, and just as tall as I've ever been. He is your host, Brother Hugh has the third, A to the A to the S, T to the H to the E, 3 to the R, to the D in the building. He is your host, the Belt King himself, Brandon the Guy. Look at him. He's trying to be cool. He's got belts in the background that he thinks we weren't going to pay attention to. And he's your host, the man, the myth, the legend, the ultimate heel, Brian H. Waters in the building. How you guys doing today? I got to get you guys to relax a little bit. You guys are like you're too locked into what we got going on.
I'm great. See, because y'all was sitting here thinking the Bloodline was dead, but nah, we strong.
No, that's and that is the beauty of it. We're here to have a conversation, but of course, you can download all of our audio content anytime on Anchor, Stitcher, Podbeam, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. Watch us and subscribe to our Twitch channel at The Wrestling Realm.
Bro, for real?
Yes, sir.
We probably get you ever see that movie? What is it called? 1,000 Words?
Yes, 1,000 words.
Eddie Murphy can't say he kind of like run out of words, and then it's like a part with him and Kerry Washington.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting here listening, and I was like, well, we could probably cut out some of those pod avenues because I don't think nobody
is it time? Okay, let's listen. We're in the season of Spotify.
I learned the other day. Shout out to Troy Farkas. Google Podcasts ain't a thing no more. It's all it's all directed to Amazon.
Oh wow! Look, that's breaking news. Now we can eliminate that from the intro. Good, because we can size it down so that's even better.
I don't want you to run out of words, bro.
No, listen to me. It's a lot to get through each week, but it's okay though. But like I said, nonetheless, if you want to support the Wrestling Realm, you can do so at thewrestlingrealm.com. Shop hoodies, t-shirts, mugs, and more for all your Wrestling Realm apparel and merchandise. That is exactly where you can find it. So if you want to support the brand, that is where you can do so. Or if you just want to display the fact that you are a proud wrestling fan, go to WrestlingRealm.com and get your proud wrestling fan t-shirt, amongst others, and so much more to come. Pretty soon, we will be doing some live unboxings of our apparel and merchandise on the air so people can get a closer look at what we have to offer. But guess what? If that's not enough, we offer you this. Patreon.com/thewrestling_realm. Don't forget the underscore. Patreon is literally for all exclusive shows and bonus material that we have to offer. So we have Brian H. Just Thoughts. We have Realness Reacts coming soon and so much more. Be patient with us, please. We are working hard to load up on our Patreon channel, but you can subscribe for just as low as $1. So that is also available. So once again, it's patreon.com/thewrestling_realm for exclusive shows and material. Now listen, WrestleMania may be over, but baseball season is well into its first swing of the season. It's a very long season, so baseball season is here. Not to mention the weather has changed. We have Coachella just passed, but we have a lot of live concerts, events, and more coming up. So do yourself a favor and get $20 off your tickets by using promo code Wrestling Realm. So save $20 off any one-time purchase of $50 or more using the promo code Wrestling Realm. Like I said, it's getting nice outside. And
you said swings, and shout out to the Orioles, Cedric Mullins. One swing of the bat, baby, took us home.
We needed that.
Yeah,
I like our record
12
right
and
now.
6. Yeah, I love
12
it.
and 6.
I didn't even see the game. Brother Hugh texted me like, "Game over, let's go." I'm like, "Oh, they play early."
Are we number 4 still overall with 12 and 6, or where do we fall?
Yeah, overall 12 and 6, probably second place to that team in New York, which
the
is
Stankies,
cool.
Man.
Stankies.
Oh, we only have a game back, so but we heating up. We 7 out of last 3, they 6 of their last 4, so we heating up. 8 and 4 at home. We got the best stadium in the reason. So
yeah, the fans have come out in droves. But yes, once again, if you want to save yourself $20 off any one-time purchase of $50 or more, head over to SeatGeek.com and use promo code Wrestling Realm. All caps. Don't forget 2 W's. But not only that, if you'd like to advertise with the Wrestling Realm, contact us at WrestlingRealm@gmail.com. If you want to partner with us, if you want to advertise a show, something you've got going on, like I said, we are open to advertising. Join up with us, be partners with us, and we will send you more information. Remember, when you send an email, put in the subject line advertise, and we will give you more information on rates and things of such, so you can advertise what you got going on with us here at the Wrestling Realm. Gentlemen, how are you guys doing today? No, so you guys are being coy, so I gotta loosen you guys up a little bit.
Look, man, it's been a week, but
listen,
it is getting brighter outside. I'm ready for April to be over. I ain't gonna lie, I know it's your birthday month and all that.
No, it's okay, I get it. April can be stressful.
Look, last year it was January. This year is April. I guess 2 years ago it was May. I guess everybody do to have one. It is what it is, but it's all good. It's all good.
It's all good. But listen, maybe this will brighten your day. Season 2 of Championship Culture is in full swing, just like baseball season. And we had quite the episode last night. That's right. I snuck back on once again for another Realness Takeover. I joined Championship Culture Season 2 in their very, very anticipated and awaited show entitled Who Wants to Say It?
I've been waiting for that noise all day. I did a sad attempt of it. I did a so sad attempt of it. It was Tag Team Title Tuesday.
Damn.
Tag Team Title Tuesday.
Bam! Look at that.
Look at those belts. Look at those belts. Woo! As some people call it the pizza titles, but guess what? Some people are weird people.
Pizza titles?
Pizza. They said they remind them of pizza. I don't get it. That's how they keep comparing it to. I guess because everything round has to be a pizza, apparently. So I still don't see it. I don't know why people was calling it pizza and thinking it's funny. But I know y'all have seen it. It's getting worse with the mock-ups and everything like that. But Championship Culture decided to dive into the tag team titles. More importantly, the world tag team titles. Asterisk with the new shiny toys that's going to be on Monday Night Raw. We broke that title down. We broke down some of the lineage. We've asked those hard-hitting questions through the realness. The 6'12" phenomenon. We asked them certain things, and even the super producer had to point out the tip. But all I'm gonna keep saying is this.
Yo!
Geez.
Hey, what the world?
So
you missed it last night, brother.
It got real. It got real when the realness takes over.
I was in and out.
All I'm gonna say is, if you want to hear about not only these belts, Dylan, just go back and watch it. You will be pleasantly surprised. And what made it worse, as soon as he did that, some of the other people in the comments had to join in on the shenanigans. So as you can see now, and anybody that's not watching, has the third is holding up his belt tip that has his name on it, which is hilarious to me. It has the third on it. That's been signed by the one and only Dolph Ziggler.
I bet it was.
Yeah,
we're not done again.
Hey, he's time to change the boots. That's love right there.
The man who single-handedly got Dolph Ziggler to chase back to the white boots.
Yeah. And he had to point out, because currently now on the WWE belts, it seems like one of the main focuses is the tip. So they try to put emphasis on that, so that way it's not just a standardized gold bar. They have a little razzle dazzle for you on the tips. But the way, talk to the people. Where you on the show? So we're
that actually sounds like a new show. What you think? New episode? Just the tip?
It does. It does. And guess
Oh,
what?
no.
I know you. I know you already making the graphics. Tip or no tip.
Twitter.
It was a lot going on, man. I enjoyed myself.
I just noticed the tip.
Yeah, it just
Dennis,
feel really fast. We got almost to the end of the show, and it just didn't work out. Like we were almost done, Brian H. But you know what? Usually this is the part where I give my commentary. I say a few things that may or may not be in the notes. But Brian, I want to know what you think. Like you're a belt guy too, and and you're not often included in these conversations. And you judging by those belts behind you, you're obviously a belt guy. So I want to know, what do you think about these particular tag titles? I want to know your 2 cents, because we definitely had a time yesterday having this discussion. But Brian H, what do you think about these new World Tag Team Championships that have debuted on Monday Night Raw?
I ain't gonna lie.
You think they look like pizza?
No. It's one of those things where I don't hate them, because it's like anything was better than what we got before.
Okay, fair.
But I'm not head over heels for them. Maybe
now,
because
is that like it has to grow on you, or you're just not sure?
I don't know. Maybe it's gotta grow. Right now, it feels like they made him on WWE 2K24.
Okay, it's definitely giving off 2K24 vibes.
Yeah, slapping that logo with the globe in the back. It's like, all right, I see that with the world title. It's like, I guess because, and I was trying to like be fair with everything, so I kind of took a step back, and I'm like, wait, the world titles, the tag titles never look just like the world title. Like
we mentioned that.
Yeah, so that's probably why I'm not a big fan. I'm sure, I don't know. I can't even say, like with Seth Rollins' title, which now Damian Priest title, right? But we're gonna call it the Seth Rollins belt. When that first came out, I said, okay, this got to grow on me. And then I saw it at SummerSlam in person for the first time, and I said, whoa, that's gorgeous. I don't know if I would feel the same about this. I think because to me, it just feels like a smaller version of that title. And it's like, okay, if y'all going, I don't know, maybe it's just because of the whole WWE in the middle.
Bro, you got to get over that, man. You over here struggling with that WWE in the middle. You said the same thing about the World Heavyweight Championship.
See, I understood it to an extent, but it's like they ain't giving away that belt to anybody. It's just with this one, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. It just felt like I felt like I don't need it to look just like the world title.
Okay.
And I think that's my biggest gripe.
I have one more championship culture question for you. Would you be upset if the same thing happened on SmackDown? They make the tag titles look like the WWE Championship.
Them joints gonna look. Now you talk not pizzas, but they gonna look like mini the mini Pop-Tarts to the Pop-Tart.
All right.
I think that's the first time we've ever got a championship belt reference to Pop-Tarts and Pop-Tart minis. Wow.
So let me ask you this, Hollywood, because you're one of those people that I always hear about. They got an issue with the logo in the middle, but they don't have the same argument for AEW. They don't have the same thing about Impact. ROH does it. Everybody puts their logo in the middle. Why do people have such an issue with WWE putting their logo in the middle?
No, I don't. So I don't have an issue with it with the world title, because I understood why. I just felt like I'm looking at it and I'm like, well, y'all not sending that belt out. Y'all not giving that belt out to to Super Bowl winners and championship winners. You know what I mean? But and I guess it don't make sense to, because that's got the bigger logo, and then but Damian Priest shows up to the baseball game. It makes sense for it to be there. So I don't have a problem with it for the world title. It's in the tag title. It's like, because it's traditionally never been there. It's always even been like world champion, or like the old school titles look.
But do you think this gives a chance for, like, when Rhea Ripley appeared at NASCAR? as the women's world champion. You know nobody in NASCAR is going to get her belt, but will this give a chance for R-Truth and Miz to pop up somewhere else that's not necessarily a sporting event, but somewhere else as the champion, like to a premiere, to a
or the Real World 25th reunion back to New York.
Yeah,
it depends, right? Because it do, but at the same time, it goes back to Eric Bischoff's argument about tag team wrestling. It's more expensive, so it's cheaper to send Damian Priest there as opposed to Miz and R-Truth, even if. Or
is
you
it
just
really
send,
know in this day and age? Because look what the return of your investment you'll get from R-Truth and Miz being somewhere.
We're talking right now. You're right. You're
right.
We're talking right now. But overall, you know what I mean? Like, let's say shock of the world happens at Backlash. They say, you know what? We putting the title on main event Jey Uso. Now we have an even playing ground. You're gonna send main event Jey Uso as opposed to Miz and R-Truth. But even then, it's like it's still the dollar sign. Like, I understand what you're saying with the tag titles, you know. I think, and maybe even if I don't know, maybe if it was a different, what you call that, the middle, the gold, maybe if it looked different, but I just don't like it looking like a mini world title
because of the floor pattern and
it's
dual plated now, so it stands out more.
Unless it's like, I guess it makes sense if it's in the Judgment Day, because now that looks cool because you got the world title. And the tag, but because it's a faction. You know,
like they all belong. Like like when Roman and the Usos all had the blue belts, that made sense. It looked like, oh, that was made for them to have it. Or like when
you
Kurt
imagine
Angle had
the photo op if Finn Balor and Damian Priest say Damian Priest said, all right, let me give this to Dominic. You imagine that photo op, or even JD McDonough. That photo op would have looked really cool with all of them with their titles, you know.
But let me ask you this: the last question I want to give back to the way. What if they split them and they were in different places? Because in a short time, we might see Black Girl Magic with the belts, and they might not be everywhere.
That's what we call Black Girl Magic.
That's it.
I mean,
that's the name.
Big Three, baby.
You might see Bianca one place and Jade somewhere else. And just because they got something over their shoulder, it's going to add some more. Okay, let me go check out WWE. I know they built women wrestlers like this now.
You're right. I mean, remember
it might be
when Becky and Lita was tag team champions, they sent them everywhere together. You know.
Yep.
So I always feel like you want to send your tag champs together, unless it's something like really personal. You know what I mean? Because even when, no, because I'm tripping. When Braun Strowman came to Johns Hopkins, he was by himself, and I remember walking around with him, Ricochet, and Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss, and Ricochet was like, "Man, I'm the only one here without a belt." And he was in contention.
Why you laugh? That's petty. Don't laugh, brother Brandon.
He probably was sad about it. Like he was probably legitimately sad.
Sounded like it.
I don't think Ricochet said about anything nowadays. But
listen to me. Don't go there.
Yeah, he was in contention for the United States Championship around that time. I think he might have just lost.
The first time, I was gonna say, is this when he first lost it? Because remember, he all of a sudden lost it to AJ, and I was like, oh, he's gonna get it back. Oh, he didn't. But
yeah, he was on Raw like 27. It was 2018. Whenever Seth Rollins was the Universal Champion. Oh, sheesh, that was 2019 because he had just beat Brock.
Taking you back, isn't it?
Yeah.
It don't seem like it was that long ago, but it was. And then, I
remember well, listen, if you want to listen to me, this is, you see how deep these conversations can go just that fast. If you want to continue this conversation, or you want to be a part of this conversation, and I'm getting to you in a minute, buddy, because you keep on doing that thing. You can head over to youtube.com/The Wrestling Realm Championship Culture playlist, where you can catch up on not only this episode of Tag Team Tuesday, but you can catch up on all the previous episodes of season 2 of Championship Culture every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern time, as well as all the episodes from Championship 1, including all the shenanigans you've missed previous season and to start this one as well. Not to mention, stay close to Championship Culture because something is very, very special is going on. Championship Culture's WrestleMania anniversary special is coming up soon, and they have a loaded show, but guess what? They're also doing something very special. They are giving away a replica Big Gold Championship. That's right, the original World Heavyweight Championship that has been held by many a legend. They are actually giving one away. The instructions are on the screen. So submit a video telling why every belt has a story. Up to 2 minutes long. Subscribe to youtube.com/The Wrestling Realm or follow Championship Culture _ on Instagram. If you want information, if you want more on how you can be in contention for this, go back, watch an episode of Championship Culture. I would suggest the most recent one where they give all the details on how you can do so. Trust me, it's something you don't want to miss. Now, with that being said, this is the part of the show where I give my 2 cents about the show. I thought about it myself, Brian. You know how selfish it would be? I would do a full-blown production. Look at that thing.
Yes,
I would do a full-blown production and blow everybody out the water. But I'm not going to do that because I want to give everybody else an opportunity to win a championship belt. So that's
Wait,
that's
I
the
ain't whoa! I didn't know you was giving away that one. That's
the actual championship that you're giving away, correct?
Yes.
What you doing that
so
for?
there it is. Because it's the anniversary.
You know he's a generous guy. He is the generous guy. We're gonna call him the guy, but the generous guy.
The generous guy. So yes,
because we learned that on Dark Side of the Ring last night that gentleman Chris Adams wasn't such a gentleman.
No,
not it. Just the irony, right? The irony.
Now, Dwayne, before you move on, I do have one question for Hollywood.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Are you going to miss the nickel / dime belts?
I just tweeted it. No. That's why I would miss. I sound like that wrestling fan that was complaining about Vince being gone. I mean, no, they're complaining about stuff now when even though it was like, all right, Vince is gone, but still, I still don't like Roman. And that's what I sound like. I know that. Like, I don't love the belts, but I don't hate them either. I just like, because anything's better than pennies and nickels.
Yes, indeed. It's chump change. Those chump change championships.
Yo, real quick, I was trying to figure this out last night while watching. Was Gentleman Chris Adams on WCW NWO Revenge or World Tour?
I don't believe he was.
I don't think so.
I don't think he was wrong.
He was around. I mean, he only died in 01.
I don't think he was around.
Wait. You said WCW NWO World Tour?
World Tour or Revenge? I feel like
I don't think he's on either one, to be honest with you.
Okay, maybe it's WCW.
Did he ever make it to a video game?
See, he was around that time. He was a jobber though, but like,
did he ever make it to a game?
That's the thing. I don't know.
I don't think he did.
Compared to the WWF games,
they put everybody on the game.
They had everybody.
They definitely did though. They had loaded rosters. I don't think he was on it. Like they divided it up to like almost in divisions. Like they had cruiserweights, they had the workhorses, and then he had like a section of generic people like TKO Man and AKI Man, random stuff like that. But you gotta love the mid-90s and Nintendo 64. So no, gentlemen, Jack Adams didn't make it to those video games. Man. I could be wrong. I don't believe he was on a game. I played those games.
Iceman King Parsons.
Like, you said who?
I don't know.
Iceman King Parsons. He was having in the dock. Yeah, he was.
No,
I didn't think he made either.
Glacier was on there.
Yeah, Glacier made the remember game. Glacier.
Glacier Mortis.
Because I laughed because I said, "Oh, he made the cut."
Nah, Glacier was toyetic, as they say in the toy business. But yes, listen, there's always room for 90s Nintendo 64 talk. But once again,
we're gonna have the streaming party.
Oh yeah, we should though. I'm all for it. Mm-hmm. Usually this is the part of the show where I may or may not have notes. Now, usually when I'm on the show, there's not a lot of notes because I kind of can be there to look at brother here. He put his head up just to see what I'm going to say, to give my 2 cents. But even still, as more eyes are coming to, there's a lot of people watching what we're doing right now. So now I'm about to act a fool.
Oh gosh,
I've got notes. You hear that, Brian H?
I got a glare.
The audio.
Let me try to make sure you don't see the glare. I got a glare.
Brian H is dying inside. Okay. Here's my notes. Yesterday on the show, the Prototype 619, he made a comment. Now, this is his fault for these notes that I have right now because I had a set of notes that was going on. His Evolution was cracking. I had a set of notes that actually was in detail about the show and the intricacies of the belts we talked about. But he made a comment that made me mad yesterday. and towards the end of the show, he goes, I absolutely love the Ruthless Aggression era tag team championships.
Mm-hmm.
And my notes go as follows. Let me read them. I still hate the Ruthless Era Aggression Tag Team Champions. So here's to those pieces of garbage. That garbage 1 and garbage 2 over your shoulder. So here's that, everybody. Ready for it? And there it is. Thank you for the woo sound, Brian H. That was how it is. I just want to make sure people hear. I hated those championships. They suck.
I think you hated it because of the time of wrestling.
Bro, but see, listen, I went, if you watch the show, Brian H, I explained to them why I didn't like neither one of those championships. It was an awkward time.
I got it out of them for what? Finally,
it was an awkward time for you. You know me, I'm very guarded, I'm very private. I don't spill the beans, but it was a show that I was there, and people care about what I had to say in this particular area. So I said, okay, I'm gonna tell you why. And I made it very clear. That was around the time where the WWE first started popping up. Remember, I logged onto TV one day and I no longer heard the words WWF, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? Now you're talking about young realists who didn't like change at all. I'm like, why in the world? What is this WWE and WWA they keep talking about? Because I'm like, because everybody was pronouncing it weird, and I'm like, what is WWE and WWA? What is going on? And I saw those freaking belts, and I said, first of all, those things are ugly. Where are the original tag titles? They split them up. It was a difficult time for me. But if you want to know everything else that happened, once again, you have to go back and watch the show. We don't have time to talk about that all day today. We'll be here for another hour and a half.
We already have time to talk about this one, Brian. Ooh, look at that. Buddy. Ooh, buddy. Oh,
so go back and watch the show. Go back and watch that. No, we're not giving them everything. Do you want to watch the show? Go back and watch it. I'm trying to tell you, you don't want to miss this one. If you want to watch it,
we got bars. We got bars.
Definitely bars on the sides of the belts. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. YouTube.com/The Wrestling Realm. Playlist Championship Culture. Goodness gracious. It was a loaded show. I'm looking forward to it. There's a massive show coming up soon, Brian H. You should put your bid in to be on that show. Big Gold versus the World. That you're a strong WWF guy. You've been that way for 60 years.
Whoa.
60 years.
It's actually been since 1942. I
want Brian H to be a part of the conversation. If he can, it's because I know he's going to be conflicted. It's because his love for the WWF was conflicted when Hogan went to WCW during that awkward time. And when he had access to WWF versus WCW, I want to see where his allegiance lies when it comes to this conversation.
I turned on both now.
This is what I'm saying, though. This is what I'm saying. So I'm looking forward to that conversation.
Him and Dennis probably be on the same side of the spectrum, because Dennis gonna go back to the NWA days. Dennis gonna go back to the. Dennis gonna start with the beginning of it.
The other night, I got a chance to be shout out to my boy TJ, whose birthday is today. I was on the Meet Us in the Trenches podcast. And shout out to the good people over there. And they asked the story, but the final question was like, "Who's your favorite wrestler?" And for once, so current favorite wrestler, Roman Reigns. But overall time, I said it's Hulk Hogan, Bret Hart. And for once, I didn't get booed out of the building.
All right.
You lucky I forgot about it.
You're
lucky I didn't show up.
I'm telling you, I was going to come with my Hollywood signs. If I would have known about it 30 minutes earlier, I would have came with a Hollywood as my hero.
I did not know it was in studio as well, because I would have come to disrupt that show.
You're lucky I saw it 2 minutes before it started, because I was on the phone with who I said I would have rolled myself right out there, stopped at the dollar store up the street from there. I'd have made Hollywood as my hero, and then on the backside, I'm here to see the Jack Daddy. I'd have been screaming the whole time. Every time you stopped talking, I'm like, "That's right, yes, Hollywood, yes." He said that. Run that back.
That boy did.
I want a signature. I would have ran up and bum rushed the table. Please sign my shirt. Sign right here on my chest. I want to keep sign my forearm so I can get a tattoo.
I'd have came out of my shirt and said, "Please sign my chest, Brian H. Hollywood." Just put Hollywood.
Please. I'm getting a tattoo right here.
Everybody
I want your name right here.
What is going on right now?
Just write it with your soul and blood. I don't even want you to use a pen. I want to be able to.
I would have even tried to convince a bunch of people, like, "Listen, I need you guys to come with me to the studio and cheer this guy on and act like he is everything." But you did an excellent job on that show, by the way, sir.
Thank you.
You did.
Brian H is moving up in the world, ladies and
gentlemen. Maybe that's why he ain't telling, because he know we would have been able to embarrass him.
No, it was so much happening this week.
He just didn't want to embarrass him.
He did.
He didn't want to get embarrassed. Yep.
Hold on. So when you say there's a lot happening, are you like, be specific? Anyway, people have come to see so much more than our shenanigans all the bloodlines that we are giving to everybody. But today we are here to talk about what is next in line, no pun intended, for
hold up. Before we move on, we have an important question. We have an important question. Will SmackDown tag team belts look as good as the Raw tag? I'm not reading the end of it. I almost read it. No,
he almost got you.
I kept reading it. I was like, nope. Yeah, this is when
he almost got you. Good job, Dylan.
Last comment about Brian H. When we got halfway through the show, and this when the T-shirt idea of King of the Tips with the belt tip on the shirt came out, it was over. It's like, just leave it alone. That's okay. It's too much going on.
And what I call him, the, something of the backing. What I say, because he always talk about the backing of a belt.
He's talking about the backing of the belt. He was like, ooh, the backing.
Yeah, no matter what it is, he always knows the backing. You're like, ooh, you see the backing? He's looking at that baby be black backing. I was like, oh my God. And you know how when he gets real sexy with his voice, he's like, ooh.
Hey,
yo. Man, y'all crazy.
And that was championship culture yesterday. I apologize. Most likely it was my fault. I'm very disruptive. Brother Brandon was trying to keep. He's like, nope, I'm not going to. I'm going to keep going. It's like, nope, you're not going to be able to keep going.
Cut it to the screen just to show the picture that was autographed by Dolph Ziggler. Like, he literally just cut in, and it was just his holding this picture like this on the screen, and then cut back out. I was like, yep, this is what's happening. Mm-hmm.
Bro, it was definitely a wild time. It was so strange. But like I said, if you're not convinced about what happened and you guys want to go back and see it again, you can always just go ahead and check it out.
So this is we doing this here now?
Nope. That was strange. Not even going to address it. Anyways, I apologize for the interruption, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm just telling y'all right now. I'm not ready for.
No,
I'm not ready to
I
go
don't.
down a rabbit
I'm not
hole.
cooking it. But what I'm going to say is,
I'm not googling it. I'm not looking. I don't want it.
This is the part of the segment, ladies and gentlemen, where a part of the show where we have a segment called "What Do You Watch?" The brothers sit back and we kind of just discuss what we watched this week to kind of get our minds ready for this particular show. And if you want to sponsor this segment, by all means, email us at wrestlingrum@gmail.com with advertise in the subject line, and we will get back to you on what you could possibly do to sponsor this segment. But brothers, it's that time of the show. Gentlemen, what did you watch this week? Yep, a little spooked out by that interruption, but I'm just going to keep going and act like I didn't see it. Anyway, who wants to go first, brothers? What did you guys watch this week? Now, listen, I get it. Everybody relax. We're fresh off a freaking loaded WrestleMania, and we're fresh off the week after WrestleMania. So if that's something you want to discuss and talk about, by all means, let the people know what's on your mind. Brothers, what did you watch this week?
Well, I mentioned earlier Dark Side of the Ring. Man,
you and that Dark Side of the Ring, man. You just can't get enough.
Yeah, man. Last week it was I forgot that guy's name. I had never heard of him before. But before that, it was Harley Race.
Chris Colt.
Yeah, never heard of him. But you know, that's when good old Jim Cornette comes in, and just an excellent storyteller. But
he's a historian.
Yeah, legit. And you know, and I still remember the time he wanted to dance with Dwayne backstage at ROH. But
he recognized my height, and I recognized the fact that he was James E. Cornette. It was a mutual thing.
But
he played that real fast.
Remember he almost tripped and bust his face. Like, oh, I almost bust my face.
He's like, yeah, you're dancing. Well, come on, brother. But yeah, so I watched
James E.
Yeah, Gentleman Chris Adams. I'm gonna watch that again because I've probably seen, with the exception of, like, I can't do the Grizzly Smith one no more. Like, once was enough. That's Jake the Snake's dad. But I've probably seen all episodes at least twice, if not three times. Because
I wouldn't dare watch his. That's just no way in the world. Because I've heard about that story.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. It's
moving on.
Like, if you've seen Jake's DVD, it's 10 times
exactly. Or freaking Beyond the Ring. Remember the MTV special?
Mm-hmm.
But Jake was on it, and he was like, bruh.
Yeah, but shout out to my good homie, my good bro, Emilio Sparks, who produces the Dark Side on her podcast. And so I was like listening to that. It was about like Tony Atlas. And so what they do is they'll take like a person from some of the episodes and do a whole pod on them about what they talk to them about. So like really in the Tony Atlas episode, they go heavy in on everything that happened with Brody. I was gonna say Brody King, Brody Lee.
Brody Lee. Yeah. No,
Bruiser Brody. Shoot, Bruiser Brody. I'm so sorry.
No, I get it. Trust me, all those wrestlers are inspired by him.
That's the thing, right? And so like you know, they go because like Tony Atlas was the one who was there, went into the hospital and everything.
Right. Oh boy.
So it's like
that's kind of traumatic for him.
Yeah, because he's like a lot of people won't tell the truth. Tony Atlas will tell the truth. Like on that was the first episode, and I remember when we interviewed the producers on Wednesday Worldwide ahead of the Magnum TA episode.
What's your call?
I'm not doing that again. I almost fell into the trap.
I almost broke.
Nah, I don't know if y'all heard the clip earlier today, but somebody called in on the hotline. And so there's a big thing where people will go like worldwide, try to imitate Cal. And the guy was like, yeah, you know, y'all really inspired me. I got into wrestling because of my Uncle Earl. And then, you know, unfortunately, he succumbed to his death. So, you know, Earl died. And you go, lost it's on TikTok and everywhere. But imagine trying to, before you about to record it, you listen to that.
Oh, no.
The guy was so funny. Shout out to Perry out there, man.
You talking about breaking the ice. Goodness gracious.
Yo. And I was like, my only regret was that the first time listening to it, because even when we listened to it again for the show, it was still funny. But I was like, I wish we hadn't listened to it so I could have got everybody's like initial reaction.
Wow.
But yeah, go to Ring of Wrestling TikTok or Instagram or my Instagram. The beauty of collaboration. You'll see it. But yeah, Dark Side of Ring, Chris Adams. That was a good episode.
Okay. What about you, brother? Brother Brandon. What you guys get into this week?
I literally just got finished watching that too, honestly. But
okay, what was your take on it?
I gotta go back and rewatch it. But
no,
I remember Chris Adams. I missed a portion of it because I had to do some work. But it was interesting. It's interesting because like you see how I don't want to blame wrestling, but you do kind of have to blame the wrestling industry for like how it affects people's families and their relationships. Just the work schedule, and it's sad to see like so many superstars go through this type of struggle. But it's a very captivating TV program. I mean, it keeps me invested every time it comes on. So,
well, they're doing their job then.
Yeah. But we also looked at NXT too. I had to catch up on NXT. The boy Trick looked like he's about to take over.
He is. It's listen to me. It's looking like it. We were talking about that earlier. I was like, is he ready?
Yep.
But it looks like, I don't know. It might be his day though. Brother Brandon, what did you watch this week, sir? I'm sorry, brother. Were you finished? Did you have more that you wanted to get into about what you watched this week? Okay. What about you, brother Brandon?
So I got into a rabbit hole of promos, and
here we go, brother Brandon's rabbit holes.
These promo. First off, I think that Seth Rollins cuts the best promos, no matter who's his opponent. Like something about it just actually is entertaining. The rooted in realness, everything that he does, and it's Hugh and Hollywood. You're gonna appreciate this. It took me to that promo when he was wearing the Joker outfit against Roman, and I said, "This was the payoff for Mania." I said, "This was 2 years ago," and when he said about Jimmy, he said, "Punch you in the face." Or have you lose the Jimmy? He would have disgraced the family. He said, "Well, is that the case? You disgraced the family because I did this to you." And I was like, "Oh, I forgot he did." He said all this, and you could just see Roman like, "I want to kill him. I want to kill him. I want to kill him." And that made me realize where it was to the point that when Paul Heyman said it, Roman had a moment of weakness or he had a lapse in judgment and wanted to finish that instead of finishing the story or something like that. He said, I was like, they really had long-term stories. And the crazy part is, Steph got under his skin so much when Roman went to leave, he turned around trying to Superman punch him, and Steph just slid out and started laughing. But it made me realize, watching people's promos, sometimes the promos are better than the matches. And it's
have you seen Karrion Kross?
Have you seen Chris Jericho?
Oh.
You see, I'm not denying it, but I'm agree with both of those statements. By the way, Chris Jericho has ruined his career by going to AEW. There, I said it. It's
1,000%.
He has
the first AEW champion. Yeah, he definitely
was. But that's it.
He's overexposed.
That was the highlight of his
one.
That's it. He should have faded to the background and became an icon, a legend at that point. But no, he got
some time off or something.
They should have left them legends in the back. I did not need to see Juventud Guerrero in 2021. I mean, Guerrero.
None of us did.
Like, that was bad.
We did not need to see Chris Jericho with black and yellow on, talking about he the Lionheart. We don't need a resurgence of Tony Khan. Stop it. This is not your. These are your toys, but stop playing with your toys. Let them be. It's okay. We don't need a nostalgia every week. You have a whole. Let me shut up. But back to this promo thing. It took me on that because even like some of the backstage segments, some of the promo battles. Because I don't know if y'all watch Wrestle Talk. They kept talking about how the top 10 list that they did for the TLC, the tables list and cheers. I mean, what is it? Tables list and and they were saying how Luke Owens and Ollie Davis was arguing about the pipe bomb versus Steiner Math was number one, and they had a whole poll about it. That's what sent me down a rabbit hole about different promos, and I was like, I don't know if it was you or Hollywood said it, but apparently Scott Steiner was like a mathematical genius for how he broke that down. Yeah. But I wasn't even paying attention to that. I was looking at P.D. Williams. He went from this, what the hell are you talking about? Like, his whole facial expression in the background made the promo hilarious to me. And I'm like,
historical two-name moments.
Yeah. But that's what I went down, because I was looking at stuff in the tag team belts, the whole thing when they got the new belts, when they swapped the belts. I always thought it was crazy. I'm like, does the strap matter? Because they just like, oh, here, take my belt. I'll take your belt, type of deal. But it was just promo battles. And I will say this. A lot of the entertainment in WWE comes from the promos. I think that's what's wrong with AEW. Like, more and more I see it, I'm like, the promos get me vested in the match. Even if the match is bad, I'm like, oh, that was a good story that they told. Whereas though AEW, it's just like, here's something for TV. Here's something next week. Get ready for it. It's nothing to add to it. Like Shane Taylor and oh my God, who was it? They had and Samoa Joe. It was like, I think that was a match. They just came out and had a match. It was like, but you didn't give us any substance while we should care about Shane Taylor. The Machine would have gave us his whole backstory. They would have let him be built up as something. We would have knew something about him, heard him on a mic or something. It was like, yep, who cares about Shane Taylor? He's just there. But that's what I got into. I don't know how I wound up in a promo rabbit hole.
No, listen to me. As a wrestling fan in this day and age, these things happen. Nope, not doing it.
Go ahead, continue.
Almost ready to get. I'm not reading it.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you got a pre-free Dylan stuff.
Niggas, first of all, Brother Hugh had put something on it, and I was laughing at that, but I didn't want to laugh because you were in the middle of talking. I was like, I don't want him to think I'm laughing at what he's saying, because I just had to look over, and his comment.
And did you see what Dylan said? But y'all act like y'all ain't gonna see this. I know y'all saw this. He warned you, right? Are you checking what's up? He did. He warned you. It's fine.
No, we know it's coming.
Here we go.
But let me tell you what I got into this week. Obviously, a week fresh off the WrestleMania, and then appearance off of Championship Culture Season 2. I went back and I watched the Roman A&E biography. Now, mind you, I watched it after WrestleMania weekend and stuff like that. I was like, oh shoot, let me see it, because it was I think it was available on YouTube. Somebody might have pirated it. I went back and I watched it, and I was like, oh, this is really, 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 really good. It gave me a lot of ideas for an upcoming documentary that I would like to produce on a particular subject matter near and dear to me. But I was looking at that and I was like, man, getting like the A&E biography is the reason we won't get like personalized DVDs anymore. We used to get these type of things like the DVDs and the network, but A&E is like kind of a third party. So they dig a little bit deeper and they can say a little bit more and they can do a little bit more as far as the content they gather. But hearing Roman's story and hearing about his father and his parents, and it goes back to what you said, Brother Hugh, with Dark Side of the Ring and how his parents kind of split up. Is because it's the same story. His father was married to the road. You know, Sikoa was like, look, man, I ended up getting divorced from my wife. Like I didn't know anything else but this road. I didn't know any other way to make money, and and trying to make this happen. Sometimes it just takes a toll. Same thing happened with Bray Wyatt, God rest his soul. Him and his wife, like they were cordial, they were good, but it's just that he was just away too much, and it can cause strain on any relationship. But yeah, I watched Roman's A&E biography, which was really, really, really good. So
I gotta go back and watch that again because that was that aired when I was talking to you on the way to the Bronx.
Yes,
and
yep.
It was a long night. So I was like, I was not even gonna lie, I was fading by the end of it. So that's one where I want to like isolate and sit back because I enjoy like most of it, but I want to like really like dissect it because I was like, I heard it's like a lot of Easter eggs in there.
It was though, because for me it gave me more Easter eggs or more insight into the bloodline. Like their family lineage is something that we've always been touched on, we've always known about and talked about, but like they're going so far in depth of their history, which I think is excellent right now. It's because they're kind of pulling the layers back, and like The Rock running the show now. It's like, no, let me tell you about this family. And we understood like I didn't realize the age difference between him and his late brother Matt Wyatt. I didn't realize 15-year difference. Like he's a baby. He was 15. Like Roman's the baby. Out of 4 kids, he is the youngest. Him and his sister Summer are like the closest in age, but his
Roman's only
Matt,
a year older than me.
Yeah, like Roman's our age. Like he's with us. You know what I mean? It's so it's like his brother was 15, his sister was older than that, so he was the youngest of 4, and he was like the baby. So
it's crazy how that's how it is in their culture. Like you see, same with Rikishi and the Usos. Like, well, wrestling in general. Like, look at it's like you have like one set of kids when you on the road, then you come home and have another set. Look at Dusty.
Same thing happened with Dusty. Yep.
And so
all of them are spread out. Even Flair. Is it Charlotte the baby of all of them?
Yeah, I think so. No, Reed was the baby, but it's
a big gap between
closer together, and then that other one, David and Megan,
way older.
Yeah, he's
not way older. They were like 8 or 9 years difference, right? It was a big gap between them.
Same thing with the Usos and Solo. Like I said, the age difference. Like I didn't realize that Solo was 8 years. Like my brothers were 8 years older than me, so like we didn't, like same thing. Like he didn't grow up around them as much as people would think that he did. And same thing with
he been seeing them. Like he said when he saw Roman at the Clash of the Castle, that was like their first time seeing each other in years, like 10, 15 years almost.
Because everybody was all over the place. Like Roman went away to school, you know what I mean? And just the age differences. And it's like, it's crazy when you hear about it, is because another thing about that A&E bike is they really went into the depths of the original bloodline with his relationship with the Usos. Like they really grew up, they met each other as children, and they literally grew up together. They grew up like brothers. And I was like, yo, it makes sense now what you're watching on TV. Is because they were like, no, this really went down here, and it really went.
Why he play without toys?
Right, like, bro, he's like, yeah, I'm playing. I'm with. He said he went through all our stuff, and he's like, and I'm playing with your favorite one. Like he really acted that way as kids, and everybody's like, yo, what we saw on TV imitated life, which I thought was fun.
Yeah,
so, that's
and
like
it's crazy how much the cultures are close to us. Because think about it, growing up, our best friends were our cousins. They were our extended siblings.
That is true.
And even to the point, our grandmothers and our parents. Like I know for my family, my mother and her uncle. And some, they were all the same age. You know what I mean? So it's like the grandmother and the great grandmother having kids at the same time, and it's like
exactly,
even to the point that some of my uncles are very close to me and my sister age, and I'm like, oh, okay, So it's one of those things like your cousins, and then it's like, oh, that's actually my second cousin because it's my mother's first cousin, but we're the same age. And then you like,
Brian has that way. Brian H's sister and his uncle Troy, they like,
right,
grew up like siblings. You know what I mean? They were older, but they weren't that much older than him. You know what I mean? So it's like
trying to tell my mother name me Junkyard Dog.
Yeah, well, that's a very Troy thing to do, especially during that time period. So it's understandable, but
is.
wrestling runs wild.
Shout out to Melvin from the Black Wrestling Wu-Tang Gang, as I call him. He's like, JYB, what up, bro? Like,
oh wow, that's a throwback. Like that's a deep cut. Nobody knows what that even means,
right?
But JYB. But like I said, today's show is about the bloodline. We know Cody Rhodes finished the story. Brian, this is your chance for redemption. Like this is we know last week we kind of got on you. We kind of let you have it a little bit. The bell is rung. Let's start the show. We're going to jump right into another one of our famous segments that we do on the show. It's called Good for Business, Bad for Business, where we take a particular show or situation and we discuss whether it's a good idea or a bad idea. Is this good for business or is it bad for business? Whether it be something that happened, a particular superstar debuting, anything. And this week's Good for Business, Bad for Business. If you want to sponsor this segment as well, once again, reach out to us at wrestlingroom@gmail.com. Subject line, advertise. This week's Good for Business, Bad for Business is something that kind of happened once again post WrestleMania. The bloodline got a bit of a shakeup. It's no stranger. It's not news, but Tama Tonga, after 15 years at New Japan Pro Wrestling, the son of Haku, has made his WWE debut, and he showed up in the bloodline. Now, let's preface kind of what happened for those who are listening. Maybe you missed it, but you know, Roman Reigns sent out the bloodline there to address the people. Paul Heyman had a few words to say. Solo kind of stepped in, said his 2 cents, and he made it clear there's got to be consequences for what happened. And we were like, "What do you mean? What are you referring to, Solo? What are we talking about?" Now, mind you, Solo is the tribal heir, so I'm assuming if Roman Reigns isn't there, he is the main foot soldier, and he goes to his brother at first, and Jimmy's looking at him like, "Me? What you mean?" And he grabs, and before Jimmy could even like trip out about it, he grabs his brother and he goes, "Listen to me, I love you. Okay, I love you." He walks away. He's like, "Yeah, cool. All right, I love you too." And then a man debuts with a hood on his head, and best believe, once again, another cousin debuts, son of Haku, part of the bloodline, shows up, demolishes Jimmy Uso. Paul Heyman is scared for his life. Now, immediately, brothers, I'm confused because why doesn't Paul Heyman know what's going on, right? But now in the situation, Jimmy Uso seems to be excommunicated from the bloodline. Because, like Solo said, there's got to be consequences to what's going on. So Solo and Tama Tonga, they beat the dog piss out of Jimmy Uso. Jimmy Uso doesn't got a friend in the world. He has been thrown out of the bloodline later in the show. But Paul Heyman panics, wants to call Roman Reigns. Solo stomps the phone, looks at him, raises the ones. There's that. Now, as fans, we watched it. We were confused once again, all on Friday Night SmackDown. And then what happened next? At the end of the show, we got more answers. Tama Tonga comes in, he says a few words, and he says, "By order of the tribal chief," and then that's it. That brings us to our subject for today as we start about what's next for the bloodline. Jimmy Uso has been removed from the bloodline. Brother Hugh, is this good for business or is this bad for business?
It's good for business because we needed something new from the bloodline because that storyline, it ran its course. It ended with Cody's finishing the story. So we need to take it to another level. But first, can we address why Solo is talking about losing and consequences when this man hasn't won a match in how long?
Yeah, he has been. How long ago was that though? And then he just got F5 through the goddamn table. I mean, not F5, FU. Attitude adjustment. He's been doing a lot of losing, brother. You were absolutely right.
Dylan just said it. 8 months. That's crazy to me.
Solo, you got some explaining to do, brother.
Right.
But he didn't lose at WrestleMania. Remember? That's the whole point. He lost at Mania. The bloodline lost at Mania. That's what Paul Heyman said. Remember, we had to deal with the fallout from Mania.
Because Jimmy was the first line of defense, right? He was the first line of defense. He was the first one to hit
the ring. Yep.
First one
lost on Saturday night.
First one to interfere. Yep. So it's his fault. Roman lost that title.
Wow. Go ahead, brother Hugh. This was getting good.
Man, that's all I had to really say about it. Like, I think it's good that we have a new chapter. About time they're doing something with Solo, and I like the direction of it. But we still don't have the answer.
I can't wait till we talk about him. Mm-hmm.
We don't have
What's
the
the
answer to the
question?
question.
What's the question, brother?
Who sent Solo from the jump?
They have never told us yet. All we know
They
is
still haven't told us.
they said the elders. He said I was sent
Yeah.
by the elders.
Yeah.
Okay, Brian is just signaling.
Who could
It.
that
I'm not
possibly
going
be?
to go to him. Yeah, who could
Right.
that?
You see?
Listen, this is going to be a good
Yeah.
conversation. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Brother Brandon. Good for business, bad for business. Now, the original Bloodline is something that, like you said, it kind of made its historical mark in professional wrestling. But now, like Brother Hughes said, we're shaking things up now, right? We're starting to get into phase 2 of the Bloodline. We get into the next chapter of the story. A lot of people may have been under the impression that it was going to end at WrestleMania, and I'm almost convinced that this is just getting started, like straight NWO style. Good for business, bad for business, that Jimmy Uso is now officially out of the Bloodline.
So I'm gonna say it's good for business, but I'm gonna say that prerequisites all my comments for the night. I'm gonna address something with Hollywood
Yes, sir.
because I want him to
Good.
understand something and think about this and this
Here we
light.
go.
Because
Here we
I'm
go.
tired of hearing we in state,
Uh-oh.
the bloodline was just started. Y'all not ready. Throw the ones up. The definition by Google of dead does not mean the absence of alive. It actually means the lack of activity and excitement or excitement. Can you honestly say that the bloodline has been exciting? One, when our tribal chief was not there. It wasn't. It was completely dead. Can you say it was exciting for the last couple months? No, it was The Rock that was exciting. So the bloodline was, by definition, dead. So therefore, if you think about it, the last couple months post Royal Rumble, leading to WrestleMania, was The Rock's bloodline, quote unquote. It was The Rock's story. The Rock infusing the Al Tribal Chief played a backseat to this. So on SmackDown, when we got this, he added a lifeline. He hit it with what's the thing where you gotta get your heart started? They said, okay, let's do something different because we know we don't have Roman. We've realized over the last year by not having Roman, it was dead. The ratings didn't spike until Roman was there. The ticket sales didn't go up until Roman was there. So by definition, the lack of activity and the lack of excitement was not there. So it was dead. This is great for business because now, like I said before in previous shows, Triple H will dust something and make you think, oh, I care about this. He showed us that, oh, I need to care about Solo right now. I need to care about Tama Tonga. I didn't even realize it has been 15 years that he was in New Japan because in wrestling time, it didn't feel like it was that long. He was an original member of the Bullet Club, correct? Realist?
Yes, sir.
He's an original member, like Finn Balor original. So I was like, yeah, I was like, oh God, I didn't realize that he was there that long. So now you have a new star that everybody clearly identifies in the bloodline. It's Solo, a little younger talent. Without Roman, we ready to take a ride that now you could say this is great for business because now we have that resurgence. We had that defibrillator, put some life into it. That now I think this can last for a while without Roman. So when Roman comes back, he can now be what The Rock was to the bloodline and say now it's back to being his story like it was when he started, when you didn't see it coming. When he was stashing them. What was he doing? Racking them up. So what was it? Wreck everyone and leave. That Roman. We're going to get that Roman back that we were dying for, that we loved, that built our tribal chief. Because it was gone. I don't care how much when you got to say I popped the rating because Roman came and I got to announce that he's coming back. It didn't have excitement. It didn't have activity. It was boring. It was dead. Until Roman came back, it was okay. It's Roman Reigns. Great. This is what we want to see. And I'm so glad that he made that comment. What did he say? He was on liquid leukemia.
Yeah.
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
I hope this man is okay. Let him take some time to heal it because anybody can beat leukemia twice will always be our tribal chief. But I'm telling you, this is going to carry us probably to SummerSlam until Roman makes his return. And we will miss him. And it's going to be the biggest thing. When that music hits, I just hope he gets the Philly all-county orchestra to play him down to the ring. Because that's going to be epic. And I'm going to stop there.
Oh, boy. You said quite a few things. Brian H.
Oh, I had
good
notes.
For business.
I had notes.
Listen, good for business, bad for business. Brother Brandon made up. He made quite a few points. But how are you feeling about No Yeet officially being dismissed from the Bloodline. This is your chance to come alive again, Brian H. Like let's see what this next chapter unfolds. Like this is going to be fun as we continue this discussion for the rest of the show. But good for business, bad for business, brother. Jimmy Uso officially out of the Bloodline.
It was great for business because now Jimmy got to find his way. And see, I've been one who's been very entertained on a weekly basis by Jimmy Uso because of the fact that he's so unhinged. So in the times he's definitely dead to brother Brandon, it was exciting to me because I'm like, okay, what's Jimmy going to do? How Solo going to act? Because Jimmy's been constantly trying to figure things out, and then he's looking at Solo because it's like, yo, you my blood brother, so you supposed to like let me know, like you gonna let me know we're good, right? And then for this to happen, now is the part where he really go crawling back to Jey, where he done tried the hand once during the match, and Jey, and then he kicked Jey in the face, but now it's like he gotta go back and cry to him for real because he gonna need some help. And you're like, look, you say you love me, but I need you to, come step in. And then we all know that there's the Jacob Fatu of it all. We don't know where he's going to fall in line at.
This is going to be a fun conversation.
He's got to be coming on Friday. He's got to be coming.
See, and that's the thing. We don't know. Jacob could mess around, go disrupt Jey at Raw for Jimmy.
Exactly.
Said, look, you up here trying to win world titles and the family not in order. We need to get the family back in order. We don't know, and that's what makes it so much fun. And when Paul Heyman said bottom of the third, everybody assumed that was the bottom of the third
because he lies.
Well, yeah, that too, but more so. Oh, that means Roman Reigns gonna have the title for 1,000 more days, which would have been great. But
sure,
even with Roman without the title, the story continues because it ultimately, we don't know where it could end. We could say, okay, it ends with Roman versus Rock. That don't mean it. It doesn't mean it in there. I already said
that's a very Vince way of looking at things.
Right. I penciled that match in for WrestleMania 42. So we just don't know, but it's exciting. We're going for a ride. You got somebody like Jimmy Uso who's been playing around.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's been doing.
He had to get beat, and he was always the one that was getting beat by Roman. That's the reason why I don't think it's so far-fetched. Even though Roman lost too, and even though they stomped the phone, I don't see it being far-fetched that Roman made that call and said, and didn't include Heyman in on the plans because we don't know.
Because Heyman loves the Usos. Remember,
he loves the Usos, them. And Roman then kicked Heyman out of the Bloodline once already in stories with Brock, and then he walked him back in.
I love you, my wise man.
These are all very good points that you guys made. And to wrap this up, and I'm going to ask Brother Hugh one more question before we move on as this conversation evolves. But one of the things that I noticed that Brandon has said was that he felt like at some point it got boring, like without Roman, and I think it sounds to me, I think that was probably supposed to be intentional and on purpose. And you say, well, how do you figure that realness? Well, because I watched that A&E documentary, and you say back in the day those things were separate, right? But they aired that episode right before WrestleMania for a reason. Like so now, like they're stepping outside of what we see on television, and we're incorporating the outside as a part of our storylines, which is what we've been begging for years. Like all my ideas start with that, pulling back the curtain, because we saw with The Rock beating Cody Rhodes, he wanted to he probably breaks kayfabe as much as anybody as an entertainer, but in the setting of it all, he keeps it appropriate, right? He's beating Cody Rhodes. They say and cut. He's like, F that. I don't care if the show is off. I was like, bro, that's genius. It's because he's showing it like, yo, just because the show is off, this is a real thing. So like the story, it's like the story continues when the show cuts off. You know what I mean? We weren't getting that before. It was all right. Once the show's over, everybody goes back to their regular, like it's television, and everybody goes back to their trailer. He's like, no, I don't care. The show may be off, but I'm not done with Cody Rhodes. This is personal. And I was like, bro, that's what the realism that you need for entertaining, for the way we consume our stuff today. And one of the things Roman said was, I called the shot. I knew Jey could carry the ball. We created Jimmy, right? We did what we did with Sammy by accident. That wasn't even supposed to happen, but it just naturally came to that. I knew we could do it with Jimmy. So I'm like, so Roman Reigns been the one calling the shots and making these guys single stars because he watched them and said, these guys haven't been given their just due. We can make these guys. We can make these, like he's building up his family. So now we look at it, right? I mean, and we look at it now, it's like, okay, cool. Is it Solo's turn? Like, cause Solo was the baby, and he said it. He said it. I knew Jimmy could. I knew Jay could handle it. I knew Jimmy could carry the ball. He said, we see Solo. He's young, but we know what cloth he's cut from and what he's made of, and what we're going to do with him. I'm like, okay, cool. So, are we at that point now where we we start to see more of a focus on the building of Solo as a singles competitor? But as we wrap up, good for business, bad for business, and continue this conversation. Brother Hugh, I need to know something. When it comes to Solo, and it comes to orders being given directly to him instead of the wise man, right? Orders being given directly to Tama Tonga, not necessarily to the wise man. When you heard Jey Uso's explanation, like, we got Bloodline members that we haven't even heard about, all of a sudden showing up. It seems to me that somebody's being left out of the loop for a reason. Do you think that that's going to play into anything going forward? Like, why is these things being like, for instance, and I'm telling you, this is why it's not making sense to me, because what did Roman Reigns said? I love my wise man, right? Why is he leaving him out? If he's the advocate, if he's the one that's the mouthpiece, if he's the representative of the family when it comes to addressing these things, why is he leaving the wise man out? Why is he giving direct orders to Solo, direct orders to Tama, and not really filling the wise man in on these conversations, but kind of leaving everybody in the dark? Does that have anything to do with Solo, or is it just Roman being Roman? What do you think?
Yeah, that's a tough question, man. But it doesn't make sense for sure. But we seen it before. Wise man can't be trusted. Look how he turned on Brock, and look how he got kicked out before. We mentioned it earlier, how he got kicked out of the Bloodline one time before. And to be honest, he's not truly a part of the Bloodline. It's not in his lineage. It's not in his blood. So when it comes down to it, this is a family matter. And when you call the shots, you have to go directly to family.
That's a good point.
Now, as
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Sorry. I was going to say, but we seem to forget Solo, as Sifa Fatu, made sure that he was distinguished differently than the Usos, and not just the little Uso. Even when he broke as a street champion, everything about him, he wanted to make sure that he was different. But his
definitely cut his hair. Because remember when he first, on the Independence and in reality wrestling, he looked like an Uso. I remember Brian used to be like, yeah, look, that's Baby Uso. He used to dress like him. He used to have that same wrestling tights. That's his hair was long braids,
black hair,
a fringe. Yeah, you're right.
But then when he became the street champion, it was like, oh, he's not associated with. Yep. So,
and remember, he wasn't supposed to be, because they asked him about it. They asked him. They said, Solo, what do you feel about what's going on with your family? He said, man, I'm here to do my thing. I'm not here like this is about my legacy and what I got going on. I'm a street champ. And then a week later, he was in the Bloodline.
Yeah. Now
as soon as they went to Clash of the Castle, Roman's like, shut up. I know what you wanted to do. This is what we're doing. Little brother.
Come on up.
And that was it. That was the end of that conversation.
Yep.
Whew, man. Well, we might as well let's just go ahead and transition into it, man. Solo Sikoa, the tribal heir. He seems to be at the forefront, to me, of the evolution of the Bloodline. And I say that is because I'm like, okay, cool. In every situation where Paul Heyman has been has been overridden or something has been handed down, he seems to be the common factor, right? He seems to be the man in the front where people are going, wait a minute, what does he know that everybody else doesn't know? And he's like, oh, this is courtesy of the tribal chief. So like, now you brothers chime in if you felt this way too. When I first saw what he was doing, I was under the impression, like, wait a minute, is he acting away from what Roman would have wanted because Roman's not there? That was my initial response. Like, wait a minute, is he off doing his own thing? And like, what's going on? Because I think about like DX when Shawn Michaels had to retire. Triple H came out and he got a promo. He's like, I'm here to do business like it's never been done before. I'm here to pick the ball up where it's been dropped. And I was like, wait a minute, Roman's not here. What's Solo doing? Is he getting above himself? Is he like, does he feel like he should be the guy that's calling the shots now? But it turns out that he has been once again taking orders from the tribal chief and carrying out what needs to be done according to who knows who, obviously Roman. But do we see this as the next evolution of, okay, we built Jey, we built Jimmy, now it's time to build Solo. And you say, well, how do you know that? It's because this man has a win over John Cena. Like you don't not this young. Like they always give those young guys one meaningful win when they know they're about to do something crazy. Look at Kurt Angle, look at Brock Lesnar, look at The Rock, look at John Cena, look at Sheamus. That was gosh. You know what I mean?
Then they intentionally made him lose 42 times in a row.
Exactly. Kevin Owens. It's like, yeah, Kevin Owens, another one. So when you get that one win, that's to me, that's their way of saying, okay, you're going to be somebody we're going to build up. Now we got to make it important. Is the tribal heir the next story that's being told now as far as the bloodline is concerned? It's because the next part of the show, as we close out, is going to be the booking of what happens next. How do we move this story forward? But does it still look at brother Hugh?
No,
brother Brandon's excited because he's a booker man. But no, we got to dig deep. This is what the people need to hear. This is what the Romans say. We're here to educate and force these questions that people are afraid to address. But is the tribal heir the next chapter or the next evolution of the blood? We'll start with you, Brian, because you're the bloodline guy, bro. You know, nephew. Is this where this part of the story starts? Does it start with Solo?
Yeah, because now Solo out there calling shots. We saw him, so we're gonna see him and Tama Tonga. And like you said, we don't know what's going to happen when Jacob Fatu gets there. Zilla was making appearances. We don't know. I mean, yeah, Zilla's just started, but shoot, what's a better way to learn than with your family on the road? I definitely think it starts with Solo. We're gonna start to see him rack up some dominant wins in the next few weeks, and I'm interested to see how this goes back to Jey. Because
it does somehow. I noticed it too.
Like he playing on Raw. But eventually, like they're twins. He can't not gonna sit there and let his twin keep getting beat like that. So
and he mentioned it. Yeah, because he didn't let him get beat like that. Remember when he first thinking about let's go back 4 years ago. Who came and covered Jey the first time?
Yeah,
it was Jimmy. Yeah. Fresh off the knee surgery. You know what I mean?
And him turning on his brother was because he didn't want him to become like Roman. It wasn't a hatred thing. Like Owen Hart had a jealousy because he couldn't be Bret Hart, right? Matt Hardy had a jealousy. Jimmy was trying to prevent, and then the jealousy it wasn't so much jealousy. Like, no, we supposed to do this together. We're supposed to win tag titles together. So no, you can't be walking around and then fraternizing with the enemy of all people. You win a tag title with Cody Rhodes. So that's the reason why, so they had to throw hands. But I can't see him letting his brother keep getting beat like that too much longer. And then as I got on Roman Reigns versus Sami Zayn from Elimination Chamber, I think there's a way we see Honorary Uce come back around.
There it is.
Ooh, boy.
I'm gonna touch base on that a little bit later. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You saw him and Jey. That's
they did it.
Real life love there, man.
Yeah, they had the exchange. I mean, even in Montreal when he went, I said, "Hey, Uce, what you looking at?" And we saw that epic camera display of Sami Zayn entering Montreal. Apparently, you don't pronounce the T. Montreal, Canada.
Yo, you see the Miz flexing?
I'm gonna enter the way that everybody else does.
Yeah,
you saw how the Miz was flexing his He's like, look, I get this lesson at home every night.
He's married to a French Canadian, the baddest one. She's everything. Shout out to Marie. I'm sorry, I love Marie, but
won in life.
He did though. The Miz, like, you can say what you want. It's just winning at life. Brother
Two-time
Brandon,
Grand Slam champion, Grand Slam wife,
right?
Grand Slam kids. Come on now.
And just had a WrestleMania moment, and he got a new belt.
Right.
Yeah.
And
This is
his
the
name
man.
is another thing in history for him, another check in the box for him.
And he was the man
A
on
Hall
Real
of
World.
Fame
Back to New
career.
York.
Look, they're gonna say a Hall of Fame career
And
when it's
beat John
time.
Cena in the main event of WrestleMania. Come on now.
That's the last thing on the list.
Yep.
Anyways,
The song gonna be
Brother-
blurred out. They're gonna be like, he can't sing with no music.
WrestleMania 27 for all the wrong reasons. Brother Brandon, is the tribal heir the next chapter in this story of the bloodline? Is it all about Solo until Roman returns?
Absolutely. So you gonna laugh when I say this because
Oh boy, here we go.
can we just say that the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor in a Drama goes to Paul Heyman? Can we just all go ahead and
Yeah,
agree
he's
with that
very
first
over the
off?
top, isn't he? He's putting on some of his best performances. He's crying like somebody's stealing something
Mhm.
from him. Like he looks he is scared to what you said earlier about Paul Heyman. He's scared. Like you can tell he knows he's not a part of the family. He's like, I can't afford to mess up. Like because it doesn't work the same way with me. Like I'm the advocate, I'm the wise man, but
I'm just here. I'm
he
here.
is terrible. If something goes left field, he is about to die.
And I'm telling you, if we would have had Vince McMahon around, we would have
This would have been over a long
Solo
time ago.
and Zillow. No, we would have had Zillow come in and he would have been the Samoan Spikes. That would have been their
Yeah,
tag team. Like literally. That would have been one would have had their left hand tape, the other one had the right hand tape. And they would have been
Taking
the
pictures
Samoan
like this.
Spikes.
Ooh, the Samoan
You know what I mean?
Spikes.
Like the Spikes. But I will say I'm with the unhinged way that they ripped off the band-aid middle of the show.
Mhm.
You know, I didn't check to see how many views this had because usually they'll talk about it on the recap shows everywhere. This was the such so many views and so much of time. But I'm pretty sure that clip was all over social media. That clip had a shocker. They sent the shock to us, so now everybody's going to tune in Friday to see what's next. The thing I'm agree with Brian Hollywood when he said it. I am interested to see what Jay's going to do, but I think Jay is still carving his own path. That we want to see Jay do something before he comes back around because he's going to come save Jimmy. I think more than he's going to come join Jimmy. I think that's what the story is going to be because Jimmy can't keep fighting by himself, and we're going to turn it into a. I hate people are saying Avengers Assemble because you know and I know the Civil War. It shouldn't be compared to this, but they're going to keep comparing Civil War to this, which we probably will lead to. I don't know if Survivor Series is the right place. I don't even know if WrestleMania. I don't know when the right place would be, to have a faction warfare match or my team versus your team type of thing because it's so much story. Because like if Jacob doesn't come now, we're all going to be watching SmackDown to see when Jacob Fatu comes. We're going to be watching to see if Zillow cuts all of his appearances off because like we heard that Eric Rowan basically said, "Oh, I can't do no more shows right now." So we know what that means. You know what I mean? They don't sign a contract. We're going to be so glued to the indie scene right now, and me and he was talking about this. It's an Acom or Razor. One of them is actually a Pacific Islander who could pass as a Samoan. But I ain't gonna say nothing. I swear the AOP should have came back and joined the Bloodline to be the muscles.
They can't. They
to
can't
be the
wrestle.
muscles. Yeah, they can't wrestle, but they can be the muscle. But I'm just saying, if you need more members.
That'd be vicious though. Like if AOP was like, that's the last thing you need. Like now they're the security guys, because I think I like them. I don't like them as like workhorse tag champions. I like them as what they are, muscle. Like some big guys just work better for that. Like it's, they come in, they get in, they have a brawl,
and that's it. And what's his name? The other guy that was in NXT, Braun Breaker, speared him out of his shorts not too long ago. Remember, he resurfaced, and I was like, he got a whole Samoan tattoo. We just gonna ignore the fact that we got another Samoan on the roster.
Because
but I'm interested.
Jimmy said something about it, and Jay's like, he ain't with us, no.
I didn't see that.
It was one of those interviews they did on like WWE social media or YouTube, and he was like,
was it?
They was like they was like, can you break down like who's all in the bloodline for real? And he saw the name, and he was like, all right, so you got so and so, and they was like, and then he was his name in all the because in their culture sometimes if they're all from the same, like they consider themselves all island boys. So like Fiji, Tonga, Samoa, they're all like right there. They're the Polynesian islands, right? So they're like, man, we're all island boys. Like that's how they look at it. And that they have like, certain obvious
Zion Quinn, that's his name. Thank you. I could not his name escape me. But it's crazy because like even when it comes to like Samoa Joe, he ain't part of this family. He just the name. That's like the
I used
name
to beef
Black
with Samoa
Lightning.
Joe. I said
Like
he's no
that doesn't mean
Umaga.
you get what
He's
I'm
no
saying. So
Umaga.
definitely
Yeah.
not. Umaga was rest his soul because
But
that man was
Samoa Joe had the cooler
ooh,
nickname though. He had a cooler
he,
nickname. He was Samoan Submission Machine versus the Samoan Bulldozer.
yeah, but guess what? Umaga did a lot and probably would have did more. But I'm saying that man. That's all I'm gonna say. Give him his that man. But I will say this. I
Mhm.
will. Dang, Umaga was good. That was
He was. Oh my gosh, he was my
just a
favorite.
breath of fresh air when he became Umaga. I was like, whoa, this is what we've been missing. He could do that the
Yeah.
whole time. Look, Avenger reference. Why was he in there then? Why did
He reminded me.
this?
He reminded me of Rikishi, like floating around with a couple of different gimmicks, and then when something finally worked, you're like, oh, okay, now we cooking with something. Yeah, fronts in his
We
mouth,
should have been doing
Samoan
this.
tattoos everywhere.
Yep, and he just looked
Main event
menacing.
player.
Yes, instantly. But I will say this: I think the tribal heir. I hope that this becomes I don't want to say gimmick, the persona of Solo, because right now,
Okay.
what is Solo's persona? Because he said, he's the what they
the
call him?
enforcer.
Yeah, the
He's supposed to
enforcer.
be the
That
enforcer,
really
yeah.
didn't stick. You can't be the enforcer losing matches, but if you're the tribal heir, you just destroy people. Like when he had those backstage segments, I just destroyed people. That's what we need because he looks menacing. He looks like somebody that you see. You're like, nope, I'm going the other way. Because a comedian was joking about Samoans and said, I don't care what happened. I'm always going to be the side of Samoan. It was like, if it's a hurricane in a Samoan, I feel bad for that hurricane. So that's what I feel like when you see Solo, you're like, nope, not doing it. I'm going this way. You're like, that's a whole Samoan right there. He probably gonna flip that car over and destroy it. You go ahead. Y'all have fun with that. I'm gonna go this way. So just seeing that and being interested in that portion of it. And I'm telling you, I'm tuning into SmackDown now to see what's next because this is definitely a good what is it when you turn the page? It's a good read. It's a page turner.
Good page turner. Yeah. So with that being said, we talk about kind of kind of transitioning into the next phase of it all, and they've kind of got us on a hook right now, right? Like just when you thought the Bloodline was done, and we're gonna get you in a second, brother Hugh. But it's like, man, it's even if it doesn't happen on Friday, like Brian they said, they're like pulling us into the story again. And they're like, they found a way to convince us, like, listen, I know this one chapter is over, but stick around. I think you should see the next chapter too. You know what I mean? And like, of course, chapter 2 is not going to compare to chapter 1, but it's enough to say, well, it was good enough. Chapter 1 was that good enough. If you tell me to stick around for chapter 2, I might just let me see what you got. You know what I mean? And now they're like, okay, cool. We're bringing them along for chapter 2, and they're here. Let's see what we can do with this. Brother Hugh is Solo Sikoa this next chapter? Is it about him at finally when it comes to the bloodline and the evolution of this story?
By far. Like Brandon said, he has to establish himself as a superstar. Right now he had the identity of an enforcer, but what did he enforce? Let's be real. Like Boss Man with the corporation back in the day. What was he doing? He was just a lackey. He was just there.
He was beating up in the beginning.
I don't want to hear that.
He was like Vince's private security after a while because he wasn't like he was.
Yeah, he wasn't doing
him.
nothing,
It was
bro.
the muscle of the corporation was always who? It was always like Ken Shamrock, Boss Man,
Yep.
and then like Tess, and then with Triple H in China when they first got there. But yeah,
then Kane became it too a little bit when he came in.
Yeah, Kane, yes. So we all talked about tuning into this Friday, so they got us on the hook, and I think this is the main reason why they got us on the hook. It's because we all know this, just like it's been rumblings about Jacob Fatu. We've been looking at him. He goes by the Samoan Werewolf. He was one of the main reasons we were watching MLW on a weekly basis. And of course, anytime you see a Samoan bit like that, I remember when Roman Reigns officially announced himself to be the tribal chief, and everybody's like, "Oh well, Jacob Fatu is the tribal chief of the Indies," and he was like, "No, there's only one tribal chief, and I acknowledge my tribal chief, Roman Reigns." And I was like, "Okay, now we're getting cultural." that's what I knew. Like this is getting deep, and they were unified about the approach of it because he could have easily like for instance, Samoa Joe tried to capitalize, and AEW tried to capitalize off the Bloodline storyline by all of a sudden come out with a Final Boss T-shirt that nobody saw, but and they knew where it came from. But they
Final Boss.
I didn't even know.
Samoa Joe had a Final Boss T-shirt, like AEW had a Samoa Joe Final Boss T-shirt. Yeah, and I was like, dude, what is this? Like, come on, what do you? It was a cheap grab, try to stir the pot a little bit. Let's try to. It's no different when Samoa Joe all of a sudden became very traditional and tribal when Umaga got hot. You know what I mean? And then Samoa Joe
he had the face paint on his face. Yeah, and he had a knife. He had a machete. I was like, what is Samoa
changes gear. And don't get me wrong, Samoa Joe is like I said, his father is Samoan, but he is, he used to travel with the Samoan troupe that they used to do the performances. So it's not like he's not an island boy, you know what I mean, perpetrating. But when it got hot, obviously, everybody wants to kind of cash in on the movement. But Jacob Fatu is our most intriguing entity in the midst of everything that's going on right now with the Bloodline. Everybody is under the assumption that he is the next member to show up to the Bloodline. I'm looking at the Bloodline right now like the NWO, where it's like, if you're floating, if you don't got much going on, join this group, and now we're going to do stuff to try to get you going. It happened very similarly with the Bullet Club. Every member of the Bullet Club came in and out of the Bullet Club, with the exception of maybe AJ Styles, because he came in right away. Prince Devitt left right away. It became AJ Styles. AJ Styles left. It became all about who was after him? Kenny Omega. You know what I mean? Kenny Omega left. It became all about Jay White. Jay White left. Now it's all about David Finlay. You know what I mean? So there's just a natural progression. You know what I mean? Of like, okay, cool. Bring you in because you're associated with this group. Now you're going to get reps. You're going to be in the mix of it, and then you're also going to be groomed to be the next one up. Are we seeing the same thing if we potentially get a Bloodline with two new faces that wrestling fans are familiar with but have never been exposed to the WWE audience before? So we had the Usos. Everybody knew the Usos. Everybody knew Roman. Usos are now main event guys. Okay, cool. They can go on. They're still part of the story. They can go on and do their own thing. Jay has made his own career. He's never forgotten where he's coming from. He's still connected to this story, but it's never stopped his singles run. You know what I mean? Jimmy, kind of like Brian said, he's the conflicted one. He's in, he's out. He's not sure. He's not taking it seriously. He feels like he should be in a spot, but he's not. So it's like he's got to figure out what he's going to do. But that's his story, though. Like, that's on purpose. Now you have Solo. No one knew who he was. He wasn't in NXT that long for people to know it, but they just didn't waste any time introducing, here's Solo. He's the baby of the group, and now we're grooming him too. He was there to learn. He was there to take the bumps. He was the X-Pac of the group. And then all of a sudden, now he's at the forefront. So now we have two new members, two family members. Now, two new faces that now we're going to build up. We got Tama Tonga, who's made his way into the WWE. Small tidbit, we have now officially have 4 of the original Bullet Club members in the WWE. Hence, this should be interesting long term. Yeah. And with AJ Styles out of the OC, you never know what can happen. Anyway, but now you have Tama Tonga, and potentially we have Jacob Fatu. How do we get to this point? Everybody put the Booker hats on. How do we incorporate Jacob Fatu into this story? What is the explanation? How do we make it make sense? And how do we use him joining the group to further the storyline of what's next? According to Triple H, you have no idea what we're going to do with his story now. That's what Triple H guaranteed us. He literally said, you have no idea what we're going to do with this story. His story is going to be ridiculous, but you have no idea what direction we're going in. So now we have Tama Tonga. We potentially have Jacob Fatu. First of all, very athletic, very agile, very, very Samoan looking, very menacing. Like this is dude. These guys star written all over him. You know what I mean? And his capability in the ring is ridiculous. You know what I mean? How do we do this, fellas? We got to book this. This is how we're going to end the show. How do we book Jacob Fatu being a part of the Bloodline? Where do we go from here? And what do we do next?
No.
I don't think we can. I don't think this is
okay. Let's talk about that.
Triple H has messed our mind up because in a Vince world, we know how we would have booked it. The Samoan Spikes, Jacob Fatu there, give him the U.S. title. He dropped it, and then we forgot about the Bloodline. It'd have been done from Backlash to Survivor Series to they all in the Rumble with that one moment that they all in the ring fighting each other and that's it, and nobody wins and we would have forgot. I don't know because Jacob Fatu, he's first thing. Does he come in as Jacob Fatu or does he have a different name?
I can see him coming with a different name because Jacob is like, it's basic. But I don't think he hasn't made a big enough name for himself as Jacob Fatu to the point where they can't change it. I mean, same thing with Solo. You know what I mean? Solo Sikoa is not like he didn't come in with his real name and stuff like that, or he wasn't Solo.
No,
Uso.
he didn't come as Sikoa.
Like,
you get what I'm saying?
Like Bob Holly and Crash Holly. You know what I mean? Like, okay, we'll make you the nephew of this guy. You know, it's like they were supposed to be separate entities.
Brother,
and like, no offense, you give him
growing up.
Wow. You give Jacob Fatu any menacing Samoan traditional name, everybody's gonna be like, ooh. And I'm sure they're gonna mention him like this was formerly Jacob Fatu, but now he goes as, you know what I mean? Like he did the same thing with Walter and Gunta. He gave an explanation as much as we didn't like it. He said, Walter's the name of my great grandfather. It was a name that I carried to this point, but now I go by a different name. Like I was like, okay, all right, got it. If you're okay with it, then I'm okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
So we had Jacob Fatu,
but
we was not having that at first.
I was pissed.
I was like, why? I was like, I had a problem because they tried to erase Walter from history. That's what my problem was. They tried to act like Walter didn't even exist. And I was like,
they had to come out next week with an explanation.
Huge career. Yeah, he had a huge career as Walter. You know, like that's. But to me, like, never mind. The damn Vince. But this Triple H does. So it's impossible. I'm gonna say it from my standpoint. It's impossible to book it because we're gonna get some things wrong, some things right, and then something's gonna go all the way left field. Because you got 3 solo acts potentially. You got Solo, you got Tama Tonga, and then you have Jacob Fatu. They never worked as a tag team. Somebody's alarm was going off. They never worked as a tag team, nor have we see them as a faction. So it's going to be something different. Who do they compete with? Are they just them against the entire roster? Is it them against LWO? Is it them against the Final Death? Who is it? Is it them against the Street Profits? Who are they? Who's their target to make them dominant? Is it just somebody backstage and they just wreak havoc? I don't know. Like that's the part that gets me because he did already destroy Jimmy. You can't beat up Jimmy every week because then we're gonna have Alana and what's it? His girlfriend. Yes, we're gonna have that type of situation where we're like, okay, y'all still beating up Jimmy, which that storyline would have more to do. But what do you do? And I know strapping the title on somebody is not always the answer because then you're gonna have somebody that doesn't have anything to do. No matter who has the title, because Solo get the United States title, they just his muscles. Jacob get the United States title, then he got 2 muscles. Tama Tonga get the United States title. You know, what do you do? Then we got the draft coming up too. I think the draft is going to really shape us getting post Backlash because the draft is happening next Friday and Monday. I think that's really going to shake up what's going to happen because if we don't see him on Friday, what if he get drafted?
It's possible. They Raw drafted Odyssey Jones one time from NXT, and then we never saw him.
Still haven't seen him.
He's
still. And remember which color got drafted? Then he wound up on NXT. He got drafted to Raw, and they said, "Never mind, go to NXT." Then they said, "Never mind, just stay off TV." Yeah, we messed this one up. You know, generic babyface isn't working for you. He was creative player number 3.
There you go.
You should just put him with his brother.
Yeah. Anybody else want to take a stab at it? Or are we all in agreement? Like, look, man, it's too soon to say because I have an idea and I have a scenario. It's not necessarily a booking, but this is something I'm looking for. So does anybody want to go ahead and throw their hat into the pot? Because if not, I'm gonna say this and we're gonna wrap that. We're gonna go on.
Man. Yeah, did you see the shirt? Did y'all see the shirt before you say that?
I did.
Did y'all
see the shirt?
It said main eventer and final boss. You ain't say it said main event.
I just
said main event on it.
And the crazy part, that's not the one I even saw. I saw when it was gray, but you know, I'm not going to get into it.
Oh,
but
okay,
yeah. Anybody else want to take a stab at this, or are we going to just?
All I'm going to say.
Okay, just tapped out. Go ahead, Brian.
You good? All right. All I'm going to say is this is the way we get our babyface Roman back. You know?
No.
Yes.
You really you still think this is about babyface Roman? Wow. Okay.
This
I
could
agree
be the
with him.
way to get a babyface Roman. Because if you have a Jacob Fatu, let's state the obvious. What everybody's thinking is he's gonna
Right.
come and he's gonna join the new bloodline with Solo and Tama Tonga. They're gonna wreak havoc. They're gonna Jimmy gonna get together. Roman's gonna come back somehow, some way. That question that we asked earlier, who said Solo is gonna come back into play? It probably end up being The Rock somehow, some way. You know, let's just throw it out there. It's The Rock, okay? Then we're gonna have the clash of bosses, the Tribal Chief versus The Rock. So then that's how you get, or versus the final boss. So that's how you get your Roman come back as a babyface. They already miss him after all that complaining about, oh, he's a champion that doesn't show up. Oh my god. Oh my god. As soon as he lost the belt, all types of tweets and posts and everything talking about, we miss you, Roman, come back. It hasn't even been a day. And then you got your boy Cody coming out with what we said earlier, Brandon? Doing the same promos.
Oh my god, he got the most boldest promo. Look at me, I'm here. I'm happy.
Really?
I'm your champion. Yeah.
Right.
Brandon said that was gonna happen before he won. Go ahead.
Absolutely.
And look, and what did I say here? What did I say? If he doesn't finish the story, he becomes nothing. But when he finished the story, what's next?
Absolutely.
Remember I said, what's next? His story was, I need the title. Okay, you got it.
Right.
And
that's it.
You're gonna keep cutting.
This your king.
See,
I know that
I want to see though. The thing I want to see though,
said, Brandon. He gave you a line from a Marvel movie.
Is that your king? I know that line.
Look, I was trying to wait for it to finish it.
I own that movie. I own 2. Wait, 3. Wait, no, 2. That one. Wait, Spider-Man Marvel, right?
Yes.
Oh god.
Yeah, I own a few of those.
Oh Lord.
And Batman. Wait, Batman. That's Capcom.
No, stop, bro.
He's gone. Just
right.
Quit. Just quit. Time out. Just quit.
He said Batman is Capcom, right? Yeah, that's.
He works to me with sports references.
Before you trigger the guy. Here's what I'm thinking.
Real quick though. My bad, Dwayne.
No. Go ahead.
The one thing that I would like to see is the incorporation of the females. Can we possibly get a Nia Jax? Can we get a Naomi? Can we get Naomi to join the babyface side of things? Can we get, who knows? Can we get the Tonga twins?
I'm seeing them pop up more now than ever. You guys noticing that?
I want to see
the Tonga twins at Wally Mania.
Yeah, I want to see them on the WWE still. Can you imagine?
Do you remember
them versus Black Girl Magic for the titles?
Right.
That could be a war that lasts for, that could carry us for a long time, a couple of pay-per-views.
Right.
That could headline some of these.
Yeah.
Listen,
not to mention we still got Zilla, we still got Lance out there. We saw Lance at Battleground. The first thing he did was walk out and threw up his one.
Lance is locking in though. Like you see, I don't know. Call me crazy, and you guys tell me if I'm wrong. I see a different fire in Lance all of a sudden. Not all of a sudden, but it's like, wait a minute.
It's different.
Before
we saw it in person. It's different.
Yeah, like
it is. He got a whole different aura from now.
He's supposed to be
Yeah,
last time he was like, "Hey, I'm happy, I'm wrestling, I'm here." Now he's like, "Y'all here to see me, right?" I'm like,
because the family is hot right now, and everybody's like,
"Yo, he threatened to bring out Jacob when he was feuding with Jay Bougie." I was like, "Bro, you gotta chill. Like, Bougie, it's just him and Shayla. You can't bring out Jacob.
That's cheating, bro. Yeah, but and the great." You guys remember that old photo we saw of the Samoan dynasty? Like when they were like wrestling, it was Sifa, which is Solo, the Tonga twins, and I was like, it was Rikishi, it was Samu, it was Tonga Kid, and it was Jacob Fatu, and I think it might have just been that group. And I was like, where did they keep coming from? And that was an old photo, like that's an older photo. And I was like, but now it's like all of a sudden, Tonga twins, they're popping up left and right. I'm like, see, and I remember saying, I said, look, they're the Samoan Bella twins. And that's how long ago that photo was, because I was like, yo, they imagine them working the Bell twins. That's gonna be huge, like kind of passing the torch. But man,
it's a reason The Rock brought up that family tree at the kickoff show.
Yes,
it's a reason.
That
that's all I gotta say about
family
it.
tree.
Yes,
That was on
very
display
y'all
at
keep
WWE World.
Alpha is still out there too. Alpha Anawari.
Oh yeah, we did see him. Yeah, we did see him.
We saw him too. And him and Juicy.
Shout out to
but
him.
Juicy
He
is
just,
like,
he's taking over WX.
Get up.
oh yeah.
Oh
Yeah. That was a lot of meat in that match. That was so much.
We
meat.
still
That was a
yo,
lot.
don't forget
That was a lot of
we
meat.
still have Tonga to to Dylan Matthews point. We still have Tonga Loa still sitting out there. Tonga's brother.
Yeah. Right.
Like Sons of Aku. And then you got Hikaluya. I don't know if I'm pronouncing the name right, which is the baby, but he's like 7 feet. He's getting in the bit.
Hickley was his name.
Like, y'all really want this to end? Like, let's be
what
real.
I'm telling, it's not going to though. But the thing is, my thing is, Brian H, like, where are we headed?
That's the
here's what makes me think this. I don't think the bloodline is done with Cody Rhodes. I think they're coming back bigger and badder than ever, and I think it's going to be a problem. Like, I can see the bloodline versus Cody and his friends at Survivor Series. Like, that's think about it.
I see Roman and his friends versus at Survivor Series.
No, but see, you guys are under the impression that Roman's still is going to be a good guy. I don't see that happening. I think the thing that the scenarios I'm looking at is, we talked about Solo, we talked about Tama Tonga, and they're beating everybody up. And in Roman's absence, to me, it's going to come down to, what are they there to do? Right? Like, don't get me wrong, they're going to become stars based off what they're doing, but it's not like, all right, now Roman's out here, no, I'm in charge. It's like, no, like they're still operating like, yo, we still have business to do around here because there's orders be handed out, and we don't know what those orders are or what they're leading to. And I'm like, yo, to me, I'm like, they have one job right now: hold things down until Roman gets back. And I'm like, what's to stop them from loading back up, getting more vicious than ever, to go right back after Cody, even if it's The Rock leading the way until Roman gets back? Like, look, you thought we was finished? I told you we weren't done with this. I told you we weren't finished. And guess what? The bloodline is.
I told you that we won't stop.
I mean, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm like, I don't think they're just going to let this go, because they've admitted, like, you know what? Cody Rhodes won fair and square. Paul Heyman said it. We made some mistakes. We took our eyes off the ball. After all this time, we got caught slipping. Fair enough. Like, they're not being like sore losers about it. But I'm like, usually when someone's not a sore loser, that means they have every intention of going back to the top of the mountain. And I was like, and one thing I kept saying about Roman Reigns' reign, no pun intended, I said, I can't wait to see his climb back to the top. It's because that story is going to be. Imagine him taking everybody out to get back to where he wants to be at.
You always
like
Cody Rhodes, wreck everyone to leave.
Cody Rhodes might lose to Roman again.
Bingo.
Like in this time, like, think about it. If Roman Reigns comes back in 2 months, 3 months, beats Cody again, everybody's going to be so scared that he's going to go on another 1,000-day reign.
Yeah,
people are going to be so locked in, and now it's going to be a different story to tell, because now you got to see Cody Rhodes try to get it back, and it's like, oh gosh, no. Like, Roman reloaded, he got younger, he got faster. You know what I mean? And then it's like, it's another wrinkle to the story, because it's like, well, Cody's a one-time WWE champion. Like, what makes you think they don't want to give him 2 and 3 reigns just to put under his name? You know what I mean? And obviously, like, how many? No, go ahead.
Because I was thinking too, if you look at it from a business standpoint, what if that those numbers? Because like this, I don't think Raw was a sellout, and that would have been the first time in several weeks, and that's been
like,
all
what, like 18 weeks or something.
Yeah,
it was a calm down Raw.
What if they be like, we want those numbers back? You know, we playing a different ball game. We playing with a different group now, TKO group. They might say, look, Roman, we gotta get that strap back on you. You know, because
they might say you might need to go to Raw. We'll say go to the SmackDown. We need you on the bigger show.
It was always the chase. You know, who's to say the same thing with Cody?
There's only one man to go toe to toe with Roman Reigns right now, and it's Cody Rhodes. This story can't end like this.
No,
I think they're catfishing us. I think Cody's going to have a couple of squash situations, a couple of guys, a couple of tune-up guys, but I think they're going to be on. They are going to be on Cody Rhodes' tail. Like, bro, I hope you didn't think he was going to hold that thing for that long.
I hope that's what happens. I hope that's what happens.
I'm telling you, like, think about it. Imagine with Cody, like, crap, I did all this stuff just to get here. Now they're like, oh, you thought this was over? And you know, Roman Reigns' attitude is, we heard what The Rock said, oh, this is going to be over when I say it's over.
You know what? And everybody in fantasy booking this Bloodline Civil War, right? Because everybody, like you even brought up War Games. Everybody, you see all these graphics. You got Roman and the Usos and whomever, like Roman and the Usos and maybe say Jacob versus Solo, Rock and Tama Tonga and somebody else. Like everybody's putting together all these crazy scenarios, right? Or I think even when I saw Roman, Jimmy, Jey, and Sammy versus Solo, Jacob, Tama, and The Rock. Who knows? It could never be the Civil War this so soon. But like you said, reloading just to get
NWO style.
Get that belt back around Roman, because Rock acknowledged him as the tribal chief. That we can't act like that didn't happen,
We're still trying to figure out. Think about it. We're still trying to figure out what the heck is going on with The Rock and Cody Rhodes. Like that's a mystery. That's a cliffhanger.
We don't know what
did he give him.
Don't break
and
my
he
heart
said,
again.
What the people
don't break my heart again.
Yeah.
So that means like to me, what I'm looking at is Cody Rhodes buying his time until the next. They like Larry about it. We're gonna take about a month or two off, but everything kind of settle in. Have your little glory run. Then we're going to get back to the story. You know what I mean? Like that's the vibe I'm getting. Because think about why is this Cody Rhodes rinse and repeating the same, repeating the same promo. There's really nobody that matches up to his magnitude on the roster right now. They got to build somebody new. And it's like, okay, in the meantime, I'm building somebody new. What are they waiting for? Roman's not taking an extended leave of vacation because he how do you know realness? Because he literally said it. He said, okay, the first day I lamented, I mourned. Now next day, it's day one. Let's do this. And I was like, okay, cool. This isn't like a Roman Reigns taking a year off to heal himself to get going again, because he worked a part-time schedule. Like, so it ain't like he's banged up. I'm like, yo, there's more to the story that they're leading on to. And I feel like they're going to keep dropping these nuggets while introducing new characters and building them up at the same time. Because think about it. What's the one way to keep everybody interested in Tama Tonga they've never seen before? And Solo Sikoa that's never really been on his own. Something that has to do with coming from Roman Reigns and the bloodline, right?
But they got to keep the focus on them to make you care and want to see and say, okay, who is
exactly?
this guy?
Because if it's like you said, Brandon, if it's just them, people are gonna be like, okay, cool, that's fine, that's no big deal. But if everybody knows, think about it. Why else did Tama Tonga come out and say? Because I when I watched it, I was under the impression, oh, Solo's going nuts. It's about him now. Okay, cool. But if I'm not a fan of Solo, it don't have the same impact. But they made sure to go back and tell you. Oh yeah, by the way, Paul Heyman, this was courtesy of the tribal chief. This was passed down from Roman Reigns, and everybody's like, "Oh crap!" So Roman's still pulling the strings from a distance, which means that Roman is not done. He's not going to take him losing gracefully. So it's only time will tell. Triple H has he stumped us, gentlemen. Never thought we would get back to a point where we would be like, nope, I don't even want to touch it, because clearly there's more to the story, and it's embarrassing for us to come up with all these thousands of scenarios, and it's completely different from it's not as predictable as it used to be. But man, I had a great time having this conversation with your good brothers. This is just beginning. There's so much more to get into, and we just don't have time to do it today. So we appreciate everybody who listened with us this week, but also follow us on all our social media platforms at Wrestling Realm. Subscribe to our Patreon channel, Twitch, and YouTube at The Wrestling Realm. Don't forget Championship Culture every Tuesday on youtube.com/The Wrestling Realm, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Season 1, Season 2. Go back, enjoy it. So much more to come. So much more wrestling to watch. Brothers, wrestling is cool again, but guess what? It's not as cool as we have always been. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it's late and we got to get out of here, because guess what? It's time for Realm After Dark. Join us next week as we discuss what happens in the next chapter, whatever the heck is going on right now in professional wrestling. AEW step
the new world women's champion. The new world's women's champion will be crowned next week.
Yes, so we have plenty to talk about. We have we're supposed to get to it tonight, but we'll save it for next week.
Yeah, they said on Monday it's gonna be the new women's champion to be crowned.
Oh wow!
Yep. So we get a new era as far as the women are concerned, man. And, that's a hot topic right now, especially going into this emergence of, first of all, women's sports in general, and WWE is right there at the front of the train, making sure that they have their representation when it comes to the women's contribution to professional wrestling. I don't believe that just women's wrestling. Like, I get it, but it's their contribution to the show. But we are looking forward to that. Like I said, join us next week. We'll be right here, same bat time, same bad place. We gotta go. Enjoy yourself. Have a safe and blessed week. We out. Peace.
Houston, we have a problem.
Yes!